Hey special family, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, hi, I'm Autism Mom, and on this channel we talk about autism and everything in between. Today's video is a fair use reaction video. I'm not happy about reporting this, but let's take a look at the video.
Now to some breaking news. The Newport News School Board has voted to fire the superintendent of the school district where a 6-year-old boy shot and wounded his teacher. This comes as a lawyer for that teacher claims school administrators ignored multiple warnings that the first grader had a gun on him. The teacher is now suing the school district. Here's CBS's Jeff Pegues.
In the hours before 25-year-old Abby Warner was shot by one of her students, her lawyer claims 3 different warnings were missed.
School administration was warned by concerned teachers and employees that the boy had a gun on him at the school.
According to the lawyer, Warner warned an administrator that the boy had threatened another student, but nothing was done. Later, someone allegedly reported the boy put the gun in his pocket, but instead of searching him, an administrator dismissed it because the 6-year-old has little pockets. Finally, another student allegedly reported that the 6-year-old showed the gun to him and threatened to shoot him if he told anyone.
When a 4th employee who heard about the danger asked the administrator for permission to search the boy, he was denied. He was told to wait the situation out because the school day was almost over. Let that sink in.
About an hour later, the 6-year-old pointed the gun at the teacher and fired.
We had a female victim shot in the abdomen,
leaving her in critical condition. She would survive. Days later, angry parents blasted the school board.
I send my kids to school and find myself praying to God that they will return home safely.
In a statement, the boy's family said that he suffers from an acute disability that required his mother or father accompanying him to class every day. The week of the shooting was the first week when they were not in class with him. As you might imagine, parents and teachers still upset in Virginia, concerned about security at that school, which has been closed since the shooting in early January, but there are plans to reopen sometime next week, Nora.
Jeff Pegues with that stunning timeline. Really, thank you.
Let's talk about this. So 4 different people reported it to the office, to whoever is in charge. No actions were taken. Oh, his pocket is too little. Oh, you're not allowed to search him. Oh, the school is almost over. It sounds like they were trying to sweep it under the rug, let him go back home with the gun, and they will act like it never happened. Therefore, they don't have to take time out of their day to address this. But what if he went into the bus now and start shooting people on the bus? What if he was on the playground and decided that there's where he wanted to start pew-pew-pewing? None of that. The teacher's safety was not taken into account. The kid's safety was not taken into account. And the other staff members, their safety was not taken into account. It wasn't the teacher that only reported it. Different staff members reported it. And a student reported it. It was all swept under the rug as if they were making a big deal out of nothing. And then look what happens. Now the teacher is sitting there in critical condition because they didn't take heed. So we need an update. We need to know how this teacher is doing and what the consequences are. Let's go to the next video so we can see what the consequences are.
CNN reached out to the school district, which declined to comment.
I move that we approve the separation agreement and severance with the superintendent.
At a special meeting tonight, the school board voted to approve a separation agreement with Superintendent George Parker and appointed an interim superintendent.
Effective February 1st, 2023, Dr. Parker will be relieved of his duties as superintendent.
A move parents like Mark Garcia Sr. are calling for.
Different principal, different administration.
Thomas Britton's son is in the same class as the alleged shooter, but wasn't in school that day. His response to the allegations?
I told him I can't believe someone could be so blasé or callous with
the safety? Like, what is their job?
Today's allegations likely little comfort for the students and parents getting their first chance since the shooting to return to the school this afternoon for a short reorientation.
He's still scared, and he was crying about 3 nights ago about this. And, you know, he wants to go back to school, but he just wants to know that he's going to be safe.
And we've just learned from the Newport News public school system that the assistant principal here at Rich Neck Elementary School, Ebony Parker, has resigned. Meanwhile, the attorney for the family of the 6-year-old shooter, James Ellenson, that the family continues to pray for Abby Zwerner.
So the superintendent and the VP of the elementary school they resigned or separated, fired, however they want to call it, which is good. I agree with those actions. So while Abby was going through all this, apparently she sent a text message to her family because she was worried. Let's take a look at that video.
A source close to the investigation tells NBC News that before she was shot, Zwerner texted a loved one that day and, quote, showed her frustration over the school's lack of response. NBC News has not seen the actual text message. As for the district, a representative for Newport News Schools says they cannot comment on the coming lawsuit at this time because the school division is investigating still.
Have we learned any more about how Abby Zwerner, the teacher, is doing? She was shot in the chest and I think the hand as well.
Yeah, the good news is she's out of the hospital. Her attorney says, though, she's between surgeries. She actually still has a bullet lodged in her chest, but also on top of the physical damage that she's trying to recover from, you can imagine there's a lot of psychological struggle that she's going through right now as well.
She's been through so much and her family too. Stephanie, thank you.
So I hope Abby is doing okay and that she sues the bejesus out of them. Let's go to the comment section and see what the commenters had to say. First commenter says, every teacher in America knows this is true because this is how they treat every behavior issue like it's just another day. The creator responded, it's the sad and outrageous truth, unfortunately, shaking my head. Next commenter says, I'm confused as to why the student was able to stay when he required a parent to sit with him in class. Someone commented, I'm more confused as to how his parents can say the gun was secured when their kid who had issues serious enough for that IEP got to be in school. There's another thing about that. I've never heard of an IEP where the parent had to be in class with the kid all day. Because if that's the case, why don't you do homeschooling then? And then let the kids stay home since you got to be there. It don't make sense to me. And that's the first time, because the parents said that's the first time that a child went to school without them. Well, that didn't turn out right, did it? Next commenter says, I'm so glad she's standing up for herself. The creator responds, yes, because it appears no one believed till she got shot. Exactly. If you would like to follow this creator, this is their TikTok handle and their TikTok page. I'll leave the description in the bar below. Before we close off the video, the family of the 6-year-old boy, they spoke out, and this is what they had to say.
Finally, the family of the 6-year-old boy who shot his first grade teacher, Abby Zwerner, in Newport News, Virginia, is speaking out. They are saying the following. Our heart goes out to our son's teacher, not Abby, our son's teacher, and we pray for her healing in the aftermath of such an unimaginable tragedy as she selflessly serviced our son and the children of the school. They also said, our family has always been committed to responsible gun ownership and keeping firearms out of the reach of children. They continue. Our child suffers from an acute disability that was under a care plan at the school that included his mother or father attending school with him and accompanying him to class every day. The week of the shooting was the first week when we were not in class with him. We will regret our absence on this day for the rest of our lives. Police Chief Steve Drew has confirmed no charges have been filed.
So, you've heard, no charges have been filed, and that was their response. They keep everything safe and secured. But how did the child get it if it's locked up, safe and secured? I'm pretty sure that's your question too. Abby's family had a response, and this is what they had to say.
Combative actually struck the school employee that was restraining him, and officers then took control of him and escorted him out of the building. and the 6-year-old child was transported to a local hospital where he was evaluated. A temporary detention order would be obtained from a magistrate, and the child is currently receiving treatment at a medical facility. Child Protective Services to see if there's any interaction or any cases that they have with the family or the child. And we also want to work with Dr. Parker and his staff, which have been extremely forthcoming with information of any issues they may have dealing with the child's behavior or any behavioral issues or concerns. This shooting was not accidental. It was intentional.
And they have been in touch with the parents.
We determined that the firearm was in the residence where they lived, and the child had obtained that firearm, placed it in his backpack, and brought it to school.
The teacher, Abby Werner, made it from the classroom to the main office despite a bleeding chest wound, according to a grandparent who happened to be there and administered CPR to the teacher.
She came into the...
2 people were crying, I will help them. And when the cops came, we were marching to the gym.
The teacher upgraded to stable condition. The suspect taken into custody.
We need to keep the guns out of the hands of our young people.
So let's go to the comment section and see what people had to say about their response. One person said, I hope Abby sues the parents, admin, and the district as a whole for all their work. She was failed by all of them. I second that motion. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.